Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to be sharing with you how I pre-constructed this coop. I stopped midway after I got it framed up and most of the sides on and just got busy. So I did not record doing the roof or some of these doors, but for the most part, I recorded the framing portion of it. So I can go more into depth in another video if you'd like, but today we'll just be showing how I framed it. Once I have it more broken in, I'll kind of go with my pros and cons. I'll be building several of these for each breed that I have of chickens. This spring, I really want to get into breed-specific chickens and bettering each breed, so that's to come. But so I start out by framing each wall. You're going to cut 3 walls, so I'm going to have one side for the outside of the coop, one for the inside of the coop or the middle, and then the outer wall of the run. When I'm building, I try to save as much lumber as possible. So I cut the front walls to 4.5 and then the back walls are 3.5. So it allows a good slant in the roof, but it also is making so that I can still get into the run myself, but it's not a lot of wasted lumber at that point as well. Also, please don't come for me. I know I don't have safety gear on. I normally am building this when my toddler's napping or when he's running around outside, so I'm also watching him. So it's just normally hectic over here. I know I should be wearing goggles and I should be, being more careful. It will happen in the future, just did not happen today. What I'm cutting here is going to be the angles that I'm going to use to frame out the run area and just kind of give it a little bit of support. Here's all of my lumber once it's cut, and now I'm going to go ahead and start framing out the walls. I use this by laying them out on a flat surface that I know is level, and then screw them in that way. I used Kreg hole screws to do these walls. It's pretty simple for me, and I just like the flush appearance that it gives. I know people sometimes have their opinion about framing them this way. This is just the method I prefer. The important thing when you're framing out these walls, and I had to adjust it on one of the sides, is to almost do it in a mirrored effect. So you want the Kreg screw holes to be on the inside where you're not going to see them. So for one of the walls, you just basically have to look at it like it's going to be laid out, if that makes any sense. And you want to have your Kreg screws on the inside. So you basically just want to mirror how you lay them out on the ground versus how it's going to be stood up and framed out. So for the next part, this is going to be for the actual coop itself. And you'll see with how I have it framed out for the bottom of the coop, you're going to be making 2 of these and then one of the last one that I showed. And that way you'll have one for each side of the coop, and then the first one that we made is going to be for the end of your run. Now that I have everything framed out, I'm going to go ahead and take it to where I want the coop to sit at, and I'll go ahead and start screwing in all of the sides, and it'll start to come together more. Here's a little glimpse of it as it's all framed out now. This gives a better visual. The coop itself is about an 8 by 7 foot, and I'll have about 5, maybe 6 chickens in this coop total. Before I put the wire or any of the doors on, I go ahead and paint just because it makes it easy and that way I don't have to do it later. So I go ahead and paint all this, and then as I go along, each piece I'll be adding, so any door or trim or siding will all be painted, and that way it doesn't allow paint to drip or anything, and it's all dry and ready to go. I don't know if it speeds up the process at all, but it does feel like it speeds it up for me. Honestly, painting is my least favorite part of this, and I feel like that's why I always end up stop recording because it just drags for painting, and then I'll get a little bit of motivation to throw the roof on, and that's what happened in this case. I just happened one day to decide to just throw the roof on and forgot to bring my camera out, so I apologize for that. I'm going to be building another one for our next breed that's going to go next to it, and I might be able to do a little bit better of a video on that one so you can see. But as of right now, I believe it stops recording once I get this flooring in, but essentially I just frame out the roof and then I put the roofing on and then put all the sides on. Two tools that are about to come up that are very special to me is this Craig. It basically helps you just split through your plywood and it makes it smooth, easy cuts, and they're all with clean edges. And then the next tool that I don't know if I could live without is going to be this handle. You'll see me set it on the edge of the coop there, but it helps me carry this plywood can be really heavy, so it makes me easier for me to carry it over to the coop and manage it myself. Now, after the flooring on, there's not much video left that I have, but I do have a few clips as I was putting it together um, of when I put on the doors and the different sides. But after that, it's kind of all pieced together. I hope you enjoyed. If you do have any questions, I would love to answer them. I'm sorry that I did not record more at the end of this. If you have a toddler, then you know what I mean when I say you do things when you have time and when you can, and that's kind of just how this project laid out. But I did get to record a little bit of it so you can kind of see a little bit behind the scenes of how I put it together and my thought process of the build. I still have quite a bit left to do with this coop. I want to add more toys and decor. I like to keep things pretty neutral. I still want them to have interactive toys and different things in their coop, but I try to keep things like I like to do the branches, keep it minimalistic. I'm going to add a nesting box right underneath the windows on the big door into the coop, but I typically don't do that until they start laying, so that way it's something new and they don't get used to sleeping in it or pooping or anything like that in it, that they'll know that that's just where they lay their eggs. So that is all for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any questions, be sure to leave them below. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day.